A little break from putting on a lot of makeup as was gearing up for my surgery, but now that the surgery is done, I'm almost a week out. I'm back in action, and I gotta tell you, autumn is one of my favorite times to really start playing with makeup again. I just feel like my skin starts to get a little splotchy as the seasons change. I love to add in different colors when it comes to my lips and my eyes, and I also love playing with makeup right now because of my surgery that I had on my chest. I'm just feeling like a little drained, a little tired, a little crabby, just because things are achy here or there. And I still am awaiting results to hear back what the results were from it. So makeup just makes me feel like I can control something, and it helps me feel a little bit more polished and pulled together. So if you have never utilized skincare or makeup to help you with that little confidence boost, I highly recommend it, especially in a day and age like that we've been having recently where a lot of things are out of our control. This is something that makes me feel better. It makes me feel like I'm putting my best foot forward, but also helps me emotionally. So I'm all about that, all about that. Do me a favor and put a little hashtag hello lovely down in the comments. It's your little way to wave or give me a high five over the internet. Also helps me see who's coming on in because I don't always get to see with notifications. Hi Caitlin Marie, how are you? I'm gonna start things off. I have fresh skin. I used my skincare already this morning. I did put on my eye cream, and now I'm just gonna use a little bit of mattifying primer. It's my favorite primer for people who have oily skin, skin with large pores, or if you have more mature skin. Just really helps fill in those pores and fine lines. This time of year, I'm still okay using mattifying. It's not too awfully dry in Rhode Island, but as it does start to get drier, I may switch over to our hydrating primer. So if you are in a very dry environment and you need as much hydration as possible, not only do you want to really delve into some great skincare that I can help you with, but also having a primer that might lock in more moisture might be great for you. So the trick with primer on your face is you really need to let it sit on your face for a good 3, 5+ minutes. It's going to create a barrier to let your skincare really do what it needs to do. It also keeps your oils and sweat at bay from breaking down your makeup. It also creates a beautiful flat surface for your makeup to sit upon, meaning you'll use less foundation, less concealer, because it's going to really have, rather than a jagged appearance where makeup settles into pores and fine lines, it's actually going to go on a nice smooth surface, but it needs to sit and set before you start mixing all those things. So I like to apply my face primer, do my eyeshadows, then go back in and finish up my face. If you do apply makeup, let me know what order you like to do things in. Hi, Janine. How are you? Hey, Rachel. Great to see you. Hello, Nicole. And Rachel, thank you so much for the hashtag Hello Lovely. Rachel says, hoping you're on the mend and feeling well. I'm definitely I'm making progress. Making progress. It is weird. Have you ever had surgery? Anyone watching right now, have you ever had surgery? This is my first, like, outside of my body surgery. The only other time I had surgery, I guess, was when I had the DNC for my miscarriage. So that one is a little weird. Like, I know it technically was a surgery, but it's not like incisions were made. So my body has been compensating, to deal with the surgery of I had a lump on my chest. If you're watching and you don't know what happened. So my body's just been trying to heal from that area, but I think I've been compensating with how I've been holding myself, with how my posture's been, even with how I wear my bra. I've had to either move my bra strap completely over or like tuck it under or do all sorts of things. So I think my whole body's just been off a little bit. So I'm quite achy today. I did think that I was ready to start going off of ibuprofen. I'm not. I'm not ready yet. So I took a trip today after I dropped the kids off at school. I decided to go take a walk. I'm a little nervous. Today being Tuesday, it is a week after my surgery. I should be getting the results back hopefully today. If not, I do need to make a call and be like, hello, waiting to hear about my results. So to combat those anxious feelings, not only do I want to put on a little bit of makeup today, but I also took a walk on my favorite beach, and I did it barefoot. And I think it was 45, 46 degrees when I went walking this morning. And if you're not a New Englander, if you're not somewhere that's used to the cold, you might be like, that's crazy. And I didn't go walking in the water. I walked on the sand, but I decided to go barefoot because I wanted to see if it could also help kind of some of that alignment, like I just, even when I go like this, I hear like crack, 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 because I think I'm just favoring this side of my body a little bit. So I decided to go for a barefoot walk on the beach. I feel like there's nothing more relaxing than that. Stay with my thoughts and just kind of be a little bit more mindful about the experience. There's these really cute like sandpipers that are along a lot of our beaches, and it's really a treasure to live in a state on the ocean when when it turns fall, when really you can still go and visit the beach, but you don't necessarily have hundreds and thousands of tourists and kids throwing beach balls everywhere. It's really very peaceful. So I went not only for my heart and soul, but also to see if I could kind of work out some of the kinks in my body as I am just kind of awaiting to hear about results, because I also don't want to stretch too awfully much. I'm a little tentative about how much activity I'm supposed to be doing with this fresh wound, I guess. So I'm just trying to play it safe. So I put a little concealer on my eyes. I have had a few people say, like, why do you do that? I have a lot of veins and freckles and just general discoloration on my eyelids. You do not need to do this step. But I like to create more of a blank canvas so that when I do put on eyeshadows, they can really show at their full potential rather than having this haphazard, freckly situation going on. So it's just something that I have done. I really, really like it. Another thing that I have been doing that has been successful, I don't know if I have it on me right here, is eye primer. So eye primer is another great option, particularly if you have hooded eyelids or oily eyelids. It really helps grip the products. My eye primer that I do have on sale in the month of October, it does have more of like a nude colored base to it too, so it also will help neutralize with that. Janine says, I love going to the beach off season. Yeah, it's really something special. So I went and I felt better. I have started to watch this documentary on, I think I just found it on YouTube. I am going to be working with Addiction Shadow Palette number 9. This is available. I did take off the film. I hate taking off film of mirrors. I love keeping them pristine as long as possible, but then you can't use it. But then you see my little grubby fingerprints. So this palette is on sale in the month of October, or you can just buy it by itself. The October special at minutewithmary.com is this eyeshadow palette plus 2 lip products of your choice: lipstick, lip gloss, lip plumper. The world is your oyster when it comes to the eye products. You can also upgrade the bundle and get yourself a brush and that eye primer. So I'm going to actually work right here with this nude shade. It's called Optimal, and I'm just going to lay this on top of my concealer. I will say, if you use a concealer or an eye primer and it's a little tacky still, put a little bit of either translucent setting powder, a light eyeshadow, or even like your pressed foundation, just to set it, and also it'll allow the other shadows to blend a little bit easier on it. So I'm just laying this down as a little base. So even if you didn't have as much discoloration as me, you could just use this shade alone as a base or right on top of some eye primer. It is such pretty colors, right, Rachel? And it's so easy because you can just kind of choose them in a tic-tac-toe fashion. You can pick corners. So really this month I'm just trying to show you the versatility of this palette. It's just so easy to use. All the colors work so beautifully together. There's a great assortment of mostly matte shades, so it doesn't matter your eye texture. And I do know how to use it. So today, let's see, I'm wearing some green. Today I'm going to work with, let's go for these 3 shades. Wait, where am I? Let's go with these 3 shades right here. Do, 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 do. This is kind of like a steel blue gray kind of shade. So I am going to go in and mix things up a wee little bit. I'm going to do more of like a smoky kind of look. So for my transition shade, I'm going to go with this matte brown, just using this fluffy brush right here. This is the shade Introverted. Now the transition shade is your crease and a little bit above. And for my hooded eye friends, I'm going to share with you a trick in one hot second. So you get right on in there in the crease. And if you have hooded, saggy eyes, look up straight at yourself when you're doing your makeup a little bit and make sure that you can actually see that color. If you can't see it that much, you want to kind of touch it up a little bit. Keep right underneath your brow free and clear. You don't want to bring the color all the way up to your brow. You still want to keep a little bit of light under there, either for a highlight or just as your neutral color. But I keep pretty much the width of my tool free from my transition shade. and just go back and forth. You usually want to choose a medium to light shade, generally matte, and use a fluffy blending brush or a fluffy crease brush to apply your transition shade. Really, really easy. You know the transition shade is great when it's nicely blended and it looks beautiful even just by itself. So yeah, I've been watching this documentary on YouTube. So I don't know where it originally was supposed to be, but it's called Grounding, and it's about how walking barefoot is very, very healthy for you. There's all those like electrodes or whatever that are, I have to watch more of it because I was watching it while I was doing other things around the house. So I wasn't really paying attention, but I am a firm believer that walking barefoot can really help you with your alignment. My kids always choose to play outside barefoot as much as possible. And this documentary was talking about how we've really become a society that obviously loves shoes. I mean, how many shoes do you have? Let me know in the comments. I am not a shoe connoisseur and I still have loads of shoes. I'm not even a big like, ooh, I love shoes. Like, I wouldn't say I love shoes. I get shoes because they serve a purpose and I get different shoes for different outfits and different needs, but I don't even love shoes and I bet I have at least 20 pairs. So I can only imagine for a shoe lover how many they have. So this is just the transition shade, just that nice matte shade right there that I applied with a fluffy brush. And next I'm going to go in and apply my lid shade. I'm going to do this, let's see, do I want to do this on my lid or this on my lid? Ooh, decisions, decisions, decisions. I think I'm actually going to go for the slate kind of gray and do a little, a bit more smoky lid. We're just going to go for it. Just going to go and play. Really, with this palette, you can be like Bob Ross. There's no mistakes, they're happy little mistakes. You just get to play around. The cool thing with any kind of makeup is if, gosh forbid, you like make a big old mess up, you can wipe it off. It's not like getting a tattoo or dyeing your hair. So I'm just going to take a fluffy deluxe brush and pat it on my lid. And we're just going to go for it. We're going to do a bit deeper and darker of an eye look today. Normally I do on my lower inner lid a brighter and lighter of a color, but I just figured I'd switch things up and show you a couple different techniques. So this grounding documentary is about how, our society is really wear shoes almost all the time, even when you're just like out in your front yard and you can just be standing on your grass, and how we're missing this connection with the planet and connection with just the energy that we could be getting from the planet. And that there's all, there's all this stuff, there's all this energy and stuff that we can't see. I mean, you go back to science class or middle school and it reminds you of that. So if you kind of think about things along those lines, this documentary says that we are supposed to be standing barefoot every once in a while and letting our bodies kind of get that good energy coming from the planet to kind of neutralize ourselves. That, there's energy even in our phones and all these other things that we're touching, but we're not able to ground ourselves and release it. And the guy that kind of came up with this idea used to work for a cable company. And he talked about how telephone poles need to be grounded, all cable stuff needs to be grounded, and how it made him think like, I wonder if people need to be grounded. Do people actually like touch the ground ever with their bodies? Or are we just kind of stuck with this like rubber foam on our sneakers and stuff? So it's pretty neat. But as I said, I'm not like all in on this. I'm just kind of watching it a little bit. But when my body is feeling a little out of sorts, I do like to walk barefoot, particularly on the beach. So it works for me. Let's see. Janine says, I definitely have hooded eyes. Learned that I need to take them so much higher than I'm used to. Yay! Oh, I'm excited that that's helping, Janine. And she said, I hate being barefoot. Oops, well, except on the sand and the beach. Yeah, a lot of people are not used to it. They're just not used to it. So, it's funny. I went to go see like a psychic person. Gosh, how long ago was it now? I want to say it was after Felicity was born. It was shortly after Felicity was born. And I'm not huge into these things. My friend that I went with was really big into it. And I was like, whatever. Here's what's crazy. Every single thing that woman said came true. Every single thing. And some things that I was like, no, that's not going to happen. And they happened. And now I don't know if it's just because she put that little seed in my brain and then I just kind of made things happen and come true. But what was one of the neat things that she said was that since my sign is Taurus, being that I was born on Cinco de Mayo, call it Cinco de Mary, I'm a Taurus. She said I'm supposed to be outside more. I'm supposed to be like planting flowers, but I'm also supposed to be walking outside barefoot more and connecting more to the earth. And I was like, wow. that's something that I like to do. And that's really weird that this like random woman knows this about me, because just like you said, Janina, like not everybody likes that, you know? So I'm going to take that blending brush that I used in the beginning, and I'm just going to softly go where that edge was. I kind of brought that lid shade up to my crease. So as I said, this is a very different application than I normally do. I wouldn't necessarily say that this kind of a eyeshadow technique, having something a bit darker on your lid, this isn't something necessarily that's going to make your eyes look bigger, but it definitely is fun for color. It's definitely fun if you're trying to add a little bit of a smoky look to your eye without, trying to go crazy and having this whole big, black or charcoal all over your eye. So even just doing this, just kind of blending out those edges, creates a really soft, beautiful look. So even if you didn't want necessarily this steel gray, you could do a nice light brown shade. You could be using a burgundy. You can use all sorts of colors. The idea is that you just don't want to see where one color begins and one color ends. I am going to go in and have a bit different of a color here in the crease though. I just love it. I love having a little crease color. To do that, I will take like a fluffy crease brush, or you could just take a regular crease brush, and I'm going to go in with this middle shade. It's called Amiable. It does have a little bit of a shimmer to it, but as I've been saying, these two shades that have a little bit of a shimmer in my palette 9, which is limited edition, so if you did want to get it, you're going to want to grab it this month or next. As you blend these two, it loses its shimmer, so it really is multi-purpose. I really love it. Rachel says, I don't mind being barefoot outside. That's awesome. And I think, it depends upon what kind of terrain you're on. All right, so I'm going to put this in the outer V. So right here, and then here is technically where my crease is, but once again, I have a slightly hooded eye. So I actually bring it more to like where my eye socket is, that kind of orbital bone. Is that the orbital bone, or that's the brow bone? Excuse me. I think this is the orbital bone. So that's where I do my outer V. So it's a V or a 7 shape, just like that. And then I blend it in using circular motions, so it almost creates more of a triangular shape. When you blend with little circles, it keeps the color nice and saturated. When you blend with like a windshield wiper technique, it actually makes it lighter. So if you want to have it pigmented, use those little circles. So yeah, so it was just really weird to go see that woman, and she was, as I said, this was years ago. My daughter is now 6.5, and she was a relatively newborn, and for this woman to be like, oh, you're a tourist, to feel better, you need to go and walk barefoot outside. And there's not many places that are socially acceptable to walk around barefoot outside, but the beach, you can do it. So it was funny, I was talking to a girlfriend on my way to the beach, on the phone, and I said, I really want to go to the woods right now. I want to go on a hike, but I feel like barefoot hiking, if God forbid I like walked into another hiker, they'd be like, what is wrong with you? I'm feeling pain. I'm just trying to ground myself and and even out my body. So the beach worked, and it was a gorgeous, gorgeous day. So just working this on this other side. So when you're working with eyeshadows, and if you are not necessarily super duper confident with your skills, really just kind of work up to using 2 eyeshadows. Work on that transition shade and then a lid shade. Work with using, a light lid shade, and then try to play with something that's more of a medium mid shade. Then if you're ready to get a little spicy, add in a 3rd color. And it's really just applying it in these same places that create some really awesome looks. When you add this 3rd color, the trick is that you need to blend. Like, you most certainly have to blend, or else it doesn't look right. So make sure that you have some kind of a blending brush, and that's why I've included it in the October special for the upgrade, that you can get the eyeshadow palette, a couple of lippies, and then a fluffy crease brush. Because see how I've got the triangles on my eyes? Can you guys see that? The little triangle placement that I just made a mess of right there. Then I just go in with that fluffy blending brush, and I just start to do a little bit of that windshield wiper technique. Remember, I said when you do that windshield wiper, it lightens it up a little bit, doesn't keep it as saturated, and so I kind of bring it on that brow bone. You can see where naturally I've got kind of that shadow, so I just bring it a little bit over there. I don't want to have any harsh lines where a color begins or a color ends, and then I'm keeping things saturated, and I'm just going right where those 2 shades meet, right on the edge of that triangle. And bada bing, bada boom, it looks loads better, right? So when you add that 3rd eyeshadow, that kind of outer V, triangular shape, you need to have your kind of blending brush, and it makes all the difference. Hi, Stevie. How are you? Great to see you. Thanks for coming in and thanks for saying a hashtag hello, lovely. Janine says, I would be so nervous walking barefoot in the woods about stepping on something sharp or getting bitten by a bug. Bug bites on feet are annoying. You know, I have never gotten really hurt barefoot except when I was on the beach. And I think that that's why I'm better in the woods. I see like the leaves and stuff as being really cozy, but mind you, I go hiking a lot. I'm outside a lot. On the beach, the shells get me. And there was one time where I was running. This is when I was younger. I think I was a teenager or preteen, and I was running and I got sliced by a shell. So I'm actually more wary on beaches, which is funny because yeah, most people are like, "Oh, it's so nice." I don't have like shellless beaches. We're not like the Gulf Coast of Florida where it's just like picturesque white sand with nothing. Or like maybe when I went to the Gulf Coast, there were like little shells, like little itty bitty things. The shells here, like some of them are as big as my hand. So, and then when they crack, they're thick and they can be sharp. So it's funny. But the bugs here are about to die, which I'm really excited about. October and November hiking is some of my favorite because all the bugs die with the first frost. We're almost there. We're almost at the first frost. You can feel it. You can feel the crispness in the air. There's hope in sight. And it makes me feel a lot less nervous because of ticks and everything. We live, being in New England, we're kind of where Lyme disease started. There's actually a town in Connecticut called East Lyme, and that's where the first case of Lyme disease from ticks were found. So we have to be very wary. So here is my finished eyeshadow look. It's very easy to use. I think I might just carry a little bit more over right onto that, underneath that brow bone like I was saying, just like that, so it can look even. It's all about the blend. Just to show you again, I used these three colors. So I did my little tic-tac-toe, and this palette is on sale this month. So after this, my face primer's all done. I'm gonna go and do some quick makeup. Oh my gosh, Lumos, what are you doing? My cat, Lumos, for those of you who don't know, is like one of the loves of my life. But she knows whenever I go live, she knows whenever we're live podcasting, and she just needs to make her presence known. Do you have a cat or a dog that does that? It's pretty remarkable. I'm just taking my new liquid foundation. This does have skincare built inside. It's a medium coverage, but really you can make it light, medium, or full, just depending upon how many drops you use. You can use a damp blending bud. You can use a kabuki brush, all sorts of different ways to apply it. I am going to be using a kabuki brush. That's a flat-tipped, really densely packed brush. I'm going to be applying the product on the back of my hand and dipping in it. You can just kind of see I've got a lot of blotchiness this time of year. Between the freckles that are really strong, the pink in my skin. I mean, it's all sorts of things. So I like to even things out a little bit this time of year before I become vampire pale, just to give myself a little bit of a base. Rachel says it looks so beautiful there. I love that look in your hat too. Thank you. Thank you. I love this hat as well. I got it at an art festival that we just had. So I don't actually think someone at the art festival made it. Now in hindsight, I'm like, I think it was just part of their shop and they had like a cute little pop-up, but I am here for it. I love hats. I just love them so incredibly much. Really helps keep you warm too. So I knew I was walking barefoot on the beach and I thought, I'm going to need a hat. All right, so I just get a little bit of that liquid foundation. I apply it on my brush. Some people will add the drops right into their face, but it's up to you. I start in the center of my face. It looks yellow at first. As it oxidizes and blends with my skin, it won't. It doesn't look this yellow in real life. I think it's like the Facebook video, which is so odd. But as I said, it will neutralize some of the situation that I have going on in my face. I like to apply my foundation in those kind of areas in the center of my face and then blend out. Usually when people are having discoloration, like I am, it really kind of stems more in the center of your face. You might have a few areas here or there, some age spots or scarring, but generally, if you add the majority of your makeup in the center of your face and then blend out to your hairline, to your ears, to your chin, it looks super natural. You're not going to look like you have a makeup mask on. Some people, when they apply a thick layer of foundation all over their face, then they get to here and it looks dramatically different from their neck, and then they end up painting their neck and everything. And that's okay. That's definitely a style of makeup, but it's just not for me. I like to do more of a light to medium coverage to still let some of my natural coloring and freckles shine through. I do like to zhuzh up my face so I don't look as splotchy as I normally am. I like to cover up some of those age spots that have just picked up over time. And then I bring it just a little bit right here so that it blends seamlessly to my neck. But look at that. Really, really toned things down. Nicole says, how long should you keep your eyeshadows? Do they expire? Great question. So all makeup products should, but I don't believe they all do. But my products at minutewithmary.com all have an expiration on the bottom of them. It's like a little container sign. I don't know if I get super close. No, it won't autofocus, but it's a little container sign. And this tells you the expiration from when it's opened. So this one is 12 months. So if you think about it, you're dipping brushes, you're going to your eye area, anything like that, you're going to want to do at, maximum 12 months. But this is 12 months. But you just look on the bottoms of it. So for example, my liquid eyeshadows, let's see, this one is 6 months. So the little markings right here on the side. So each of my products does have an expiration date written right on it, and it's from when you opened it. So this one, there's, a certain amount of product, but you're actually taking this applicator when you're using a liquid shadow and you're applying it straight on your eye. So the cleanliness of it changes as compared to a more powder pressed shadow. So let me know if that makes sense, Nicole, and if you have any other questions in regards to any of the stuff that you've gotten. Right, so that was just a couple of drops of that liquid foundation. You can see the difference that it made. I still have some of my freckles shining through. I'm looking for that. I like that look. But if you're looking for more full coverage, you could just do a couple more drops and it amps up the coverage. For me, I just spot treatment those areas. I just kind of, do a little concealer here or there. I am going to take a lighter shade of concealer and brighten up the inner corner of my eye. So I used my foundation shade for the upper part of my eye, but now I'm going to kind of brighten up a little bit down here. Nicole says, great to know. Thanks. You're welcome, my friend. I'm just going to go right in here in the inner corner, and then I'm also going to do a little bit of a lift right here. I'm going to go down here for a highlight. Doot, doot, doot. You like the sound effects? Am I the only person who does sound effects when you apply things? All right, so you can do this part of your concealer before or after your eyeshadows. I sometimes just go and touch anything up that I made a mess of right there. I get darkness right here in this inner corner, and a lot of people do. Most people get their most pigmentation darkness right here. So if you want to take a lighter shade of concealer and just work it in there, it's going to make a huge difference rather than gobbing on loads of concealer all over the place. And then I just blend it out. You can use your finger, you can use a damp blending bud. I'm just using the concealer end of this powder concealer brush to help really kind of brighten that up. And then I added a little bit out here. A fun little tip is that if you feel like you're a little messy with your concealer, you can actually go and pull that concealer up, messy with your eyeshadows. That's what I meant to say. If you feel like you're a little messy with your eyeshadows, you could take a little bit of the concealer and pull it up, and this will help give a lifted look to your face, to your eyes, to your whole eyeshadow look, because it's catching the light. It's all about kind of playing little distractions and little tricks on your eye. So just that little bit of concealer, blending it out, and I'm really highlighting the upper part of my cheekbone. You can see that difference right there what that concealer did. I take a little bit down the center of my nose for a highlight, also for a little added coverage, but let's be real, these freckles right here on the tip of my nose, they are powerful little suckers. Powerful little suckers. It was funny, I was talking with my daughter the other day. She was talking about something, she's only 6, she was talking about something that she was insecure about and that her classmates noticed on her body. And she was saying, they noticed it and they were teasing me. And I said, well, were they really teasing you? Or did they say, like, what is that? And it made you feel uncomfortable, because if they were laughing at you and pointing at you and, calling you out names, yes, that's teasing. I said, but they might have just asked you because it looks different. And so I talked with her about how I have a very pronounced freckle on my nose, and how for much of my younger life, people thought I had peanut butter on my nose, peanut butter or chocolate. And what was so funny is that even friends that I'd had for years, they wouldn't notice the freckle. And I didn't wear makeup in junior high or high school. It's not like I put concealer on it or powder. I didn't really try to cover it up. It's just, I just always have had freckles, and I've always been used to it. And I like my freckles. So I'm going to take this one right here, this concealer, whoop, and clean up that eyeshadow and add that little lift. and bring whatever is left to help kind of brighten. Not trying to add loads of layers of it though, so it's just really kind of the remnants, whatever is left on that brush, as the skin under your eyes is really, really fine. So I'm just trying to use a little bit and blend it and brighten. So I told her, I said, you know, I've had some friends that they would say, oh, you got some ice cream on your nose or peanut butter or whatever. And I just had to teach them, like, no, that's just my freckle and it's part of who I am. And, you know, I don't not like that freckle. I don't, you know, feel embarrassed by it. It's just sometimes people notice things about you that you have to educate them about. So this here age spot, it's a little loud and proud. It's right underneath my cheekbone. So I sometimes take over, once again, whatever is left in this concealer brush and bring it underneath this cheekbone. This is a hack if you want to contour, if you want to kind of carve out those cheekbones, but you feel a little nervous about using a contouring color, you can actually highlight underneath there and it will still do the same effect. It will add light. You never want to add darkness down here in your in the beard area. You actually want that to be lighter. Fun little facts with Mary. Now I am going to set this foundation with a little bit of pressed powder, if I can find it. I thought I took it out, but sometimes I move things around. I'm not the most organized person in the house. That's Blake. Here we go. Here's my pressed powder. So I'm just going to take, you can take a translucent setting powder or a little bit of pressed powder and set your foundation. I will also set that concealer, but with a lighter shade. Janine says, I just did a big makeup cleanup and bag organization. Much needed. Oh my gosh, awesome. Did you end up having to throw away a lot of stuff, Janine, that was either old or you don't wear a lot anymore? Yeah, cleaning out your makeup. It really, really makes a huge difference. Now, you're going to see I'm putting on pressed powder foundation. You don't have to do this. If you're looking for long-lasting wear, I will say when you add a little layer of pressed powder foundation on top of your foundation, not only does it set it, but it really creates like a super duper locked in look. So if you use BB cream, for example, doing a little dusting of pressed powder on top makes a huge difference. I always recommend like to get your pressed powder foundation shade. It comes with a handy dandy mirror and sponge so you can touch up throughout the day. Huge believer in having that in part of your makeup bag. All right, now I am going to warm my face with a little bit. Oh no, it's on the left side. Whew, that was a reach. Whew. With a little bit of my Sunset bronzer. Now this is limited edition. We are making a new bronzer at some point. It'll most likely come out next year, I'll be real with you. But if you're someone who likes to add a little bit of warmth, you might want to grab this shade. I just take it on a big powder puff brush. You're going to see me do this a lot when I'm using a brush that's bigger, like a big blending brush for the eyeshadows. I actually want to make sure that the product isn't just touching this part of my brush, but it's actually all over. So I kind of dab all over the brush, but then I actually go on the lid and I just kind of smush it around to make sure the whole brush has the product on it, not just the one area that I dipped into it. Janine says I had eyeshadows from high school from 10 years ago. Oh my gosh, I love that. You know, when I first started this makeup journey, I threw away makeup that when Blake and I first met, bless his heart, because this was so hard for him. I'm just going right underneath that cheekbone to be a little bit of a contour, and I'm going to warm up my face too. But I won a grant to go study Balinesian music. They have, in Bali, they have a really unique instrumental ensemble called a gamelan, and it's almost like a xylophone, gong, drum ensemble. And it's absolutely beautiful music. I had learned about it in some of my music history, and it always intrigued me, so I did. I earned a grant. I went to Bali to go study Balinesian music and shadow puppetry. So, you know, because why not? That's what everybody does, right? But in addition, I did a class on Balinesian dance. And they use very special makeup, and it's, you know, dance makeup in general is quite strong. So I took some of the makeup home, and I just always thought, like, oh, for fun, I might use this pop of like really vibrant pink or really vibrant blue. I never did, but I always held on to them because I think also it reminded me of that amazing trip. And Yeah, when I started this makeup journey and I learned, oh, makeup expires and you probably shouldn't be holding on to that stuff, I got rid of it. So because this is bronzer, I not only used it to kind of carve out some features of my face, go underneath that cheekbone, around my hairline, but I'm now using it to warm things up. So since I'm not completely vampire pale yet, I will be come January, I like to use it and warm up my face. It also adds a little bit of dimension. This bronzer I just find to be so beautiful on my skin. I kind of bring it where the sun would hit, so right along here, and it just perfectly adds a little warmth. And then I do go underneath my chin, underneath my jawline to help kind of carve that out and slim that down a smidge. But for me, this just it does it. I don't end up looking like an Oompa Loompa. I look more like me. I'm going to set underneath my eyes. Almost forgot to do that. Dun, 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 dun. I will say, if you use a creamy concealer, you do need to make sure that you set it with some kind of powder, so that way it doesn't shift around like a tectonic plate. Just gonna make sure I got it all set. Don't want it inside those fine lines before I set it. Perfect. Oh, this is not the shade I'm setting my concealer with. I need to put my glasses on, friends. That would have been quite a disaster. Here we go, some translucent setting powder. Oh my goodness gracious. That would have been a Facebook fail. I don't think I could have recovered from that one if I put that under my eyes. I would have had to wash it all off. There's some makeup oopsies that you can blend out, that you can easily fix. I mean, heck, every time I go live on Facebook, I pretty much make a mess with my mascara. But if I took that dark shade of pressed powder and put it under my eyes, I don't think I could recover. All right, so translucent setting powder. This will help if you have oily skin, if you have large pores, if you have texture that you don't like to see all the bumpiness of the texture. This is great just for a little bit of a dusting. It also helps set your makeup so it doesn't shift around. You can use that or a setting spray at the very end of your makeup routine to really lock it in place so it doesn't move when you touch your face, you kiss somebody, you put a mask on or anything. It really makes a big difference. Now I'm going to add a little bit of blush using the shade Sisterly. Oh, do you like that I showed you the back? Because that's what you need to know. This is one of the longest things, blush, 18 months until you have to toss it. Yeah, the pressed powder is 12 months. So once again, I just take this brush, but once you see how I'm only touching right there, and I just kind of rub it on the top portion of, there's a little mirror there, but I usually use a bigger mirror because I'm blind as a bat. So I use it more to make sure that the product is dispersed around that brush, and then I apply it on the higher portion of my cheekbone. Playing around with your blush placement is pretty cool. It'll help your face look rounder, fuller, youthful, slimmer, all sorts of different things. So if you've been playing with blush and using it in the same way that you have since your younger years, I suggest you try something new out. My biggest tip is do not go below your nose. Like draw like an invisible line and don't go below there. If you go below there, it's going to make your face droop a little bit. So I like to go above there and bring it on that high portion of my cheekbone. It just adds a nice little lift. So we are gonna wait. I'm still waiting, not so patiently, for my doctor to call. I don't know when to call. And here's the thing. So this is the first time that I'm like, oh, I really want results back. Like I need to know if what was removed, if the lump that was removed was bad news bears, and if I need to worry about like, all right, I'm going to go on a different kind of health journey, or if it was all set and I don't have to worry about it. They told me they would call me 3 to 5 days. Today is day 5, and I don't want to annoy them. So do I wait until day 6, or do I call today since today is day 5? Let me know what you would do. All right, so here is a fun little extra thing you can do with blush. I like blush. I like a lot of blush. I even put a little bit right on the tip of my nose because if I went outside in the sun, I would get a little bit of color there. I even bring a little bit above my eyebrow because once again, I would get a little color there. This is stuff that I've really started to do as I've gotten a little older. I just think that it adds a bit more natural flush to my face, but I'm in control of it because before my face was all blotchy and pink was all over the place. Now I get to place it where I want to. Nicole says, one of the best things I've learned from you, my blush placement has made a big difference. Yay, so where do you now place your blush, Nicole? Because for everyone's face, it's a little bit different. But yeah, tell me where yours. Or and like keeping it stuck. I spray my face this much. I look like I just ruined all of it, right? I promise it ends up looking fabulous. I'm not going to look this shiny. If you do have textured skin, you can even take a damp blending bud at this point and actually press the makeup so that way it blends in seamlessly to your skin. But I'm just going to let it dry and then, oh, chef's kiss, it's going to be fantastic. Janine says, if you're feeling anxiety, I would call them. The worst they can say is, sorry, not ready yet. Yeah, I'm debating. I'm debating how anxious I am versus, um, you know, I've been in a pretty good place. Like, I've done as much as I can. I did all the right things. And now I'm just kind of trying to take care of my well-being. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see what happens. Maybe I'll have Blake call them. Maybe if he calls them, that'll work a little easier. So I just brushed out my eyebrows. I have really, really thick eyebrows. I don't necessarily always put product in it. You can or you can't. It's up to you. I am gonna use a little bit of eyeliner. I'm using a liquid eyeliner. So I do want to let you know there's a couple of deals on my site right now in October. The first one is my October special. Comes with the gorgeous Addiction Shadow palette that you saw me apply in the beginning of this video. Really easy to use. I really think that this needs to be a staple in your makeup routine, especially if you are thinking forward towards the holidays. If you have a loved one who likes to play with makeup, who maybe isn't necessarily like super adventurous with it, this is great for them. This is great for the teens. This is great for your mom. This is great for your coworkers. This is, your sister, whomever. This is a really no-fail kind of look. And when it comes in the special, it does come with 2 lip products. If you don't know which lip product, especially if you're gifting it, let me know and I can help you find out what's the best lip color. But if you yourself want to know what's the best lip color, I can definitely help you, particularly if I have color matched you. So if I've color matched you for foundations, I actually have the cheat sheet on which colors are going to be best for you. And finally, anyone who buys that palette this month does gain access. I have a masterclass next Tuesday night. It's going to be a live Zoom so people can apply it together. I don't want this one. I want this one. They can apply it together and try different tips and tricks. And there's also going to be a recording of it. So myself and another member on my team my friend Megan, she's a makeup extraordinaire, TikTok makeup guru. We're going to be sharing with you 2 different looks that we will apply live. And then we will send you also a document that shows you how to do several other looks using this eyeshadow palette. We just want you to feel super empowered, right? I'm taking just this dip and draw eyeliner. I don't pull my eyelid taut to apply eyeliner. I feel like I have enough little crow's feet from all of the smiling that I've done so far in my lifetime. So I just do little short lines. I go right along the lash line. The purpose of eyeliner, if you're just using a kind of black or brown, is actually to make the base of your lashes look thicker and denser. So I just kind of go from there. I am going to share with you my fun little tip on how I make a wing. When you use a liquid eyeliner and you have hooded eyes like me, please allow that liquid eyeliner to dry a little bit. Kind of have slightly sleepy eyelids to let it dry. And then I'm going to share with you the hack that I have for making a fun little wing. Let's see. Nicole says, I used to smile and just put on for the blush and put on the balls of my cheek. Now I do it closer to my under eyes and bring it up to my temples. I love how it looks. Yes. Using blush also helps distract from under eye bags or discoloration. It just brings the color elsewhere so people don't look at dark under eyes. Rachel says, yeah, I would give them a call. Would it make you feel better even if it's not ready? I know, you're right, because, if I call the doctor's office and they say, it isn't here yet, we don't have the results, I'm in no worse position. Maybe that's my fear though. I kind of don't want them to tell me something's bad. All right, so here's my hack when it comes to my liquid dip and draw eyeliner, because as I said, I have a couple of specials. So I have the one that includes the eyeshadow palette. If this is too much for you, if you don't want all those shadows, I do have an Eye Essentials bundle, which comes with one of my liquid eyeshadows. Super easy to use. I'm actually going to be going live tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern to go over the Eye Essentials bundle. You're going to get a liquid eyeshadow, a lash primer, a mascara, an eyeliner of your choice, and I do believe the fluffy crease brush for a massive, massive savings. So this eyeliner right here already has a slender triangular shape. You can see it right there. All you need to do is line it up and stamp it. So you figure out which kind of angle you want your wing to go, and then boop, stamp it on, and you're going to have the perfect wing. Such an awesome hack. If you have hooded eyes, you may want to see where your hood ends because you might be able to just kind of change your angle a little bit. You might want to try to do a straight out one. And then there's also this technique called a bat wing, which allows you to still have that kind of cat eye look with a severely hooded eye. So really cool right there. Then what I do is I actually connect it. So you can see the wing, and then I just go where the base was, and I draw that in. I have some friends that actually like to use pencil eyeliner on the top of their lid, and they just use this for the little stamp hack. There you go. Super easy, right? Everybody can stamp. My kids love playing with stamps, so let's do it on this other side. The neat thing when you use a winged eyeliner like this, it's going to help your whole eye look more lifted, more dramatic. When you apply your mascara, sometimes if you're doing it thin like this, like I am, it actually ends up looking like an eyelash. And stamp. Ta-da! Just connect. I want to just make sure I got the little end. Bada bing, bada boom. And we did wings. We did wings today. Didn't even know I was going to be doing that. I am going to take a little bit of the eyeshadow that I used and smoke out under my eye. So when you play with eyeliner, eyeliner can make your eyes look more dramatic, make them look bigger, make them look smaller, all sorts of things. A lot of people, particularly if you put on a lot of makeup in like the 90s, we used to take pencil eyeliner and like do our whole eye. It makes your eyes really stand out, but it can also make your eyes look tired and smaller. So if you do like the look of really having a complete full eye, but you want to make them still look bigger, you can actually take one of the eyeshadow shades that you used. So I'm going to use that shade right there, that middle kind of yummy brown shade, and I'm going to apply that on my lower lid. Just like we have a crease on our upper lid, you actually have a crease in your lower lid. It's like where your eyeball starts to go in. That's a lot of area where people get some wrinkling and creasing and stuff, so don't even put concealer there. Just put your eyeshadow there. This is a big hack. For those of you who are like, oh my gosh, I've got so many wrinkles there, I've got discoloration, actually put your eyeshadow all the way down to that lower crease. When you first apply it without mascara, you're going to be like, why did I listen to Mary Larson on Facebook? Why did I let her convince me to do this? I promise you, once you have the mascara, you're going to be like, this is perfect. You can do it dark, you can do it light. You can use your transition shade if you're brand new to it and you don't necessarily trust the process yet. But I gotta tell you, as someone who has, I've got a lot of fine lines down there, down under my eyes. It's just, I'm Buddy the Elf, smiling's my favorite, and this technique still allows me to have a really pulled together, beautiful eyeshadow look without having to worry about the crepiness under my eyes. Yay, so happy, Janine. All right, so let's add some mascara, shall we? I'm gonna take a little bit of a lash curler, and I just kind of get right to the base of those lashes, and I just kind of bounce it a little bit to open things up. There we go. I'm going to use a little bit of Lash Primer. If you've never used Lash Primer, it is the push-up bra for your mascara. It's going to lift it, separate it. It does have some serum inside of it, so it helps nourish the lashes as well. So if you want them to grow a little bit longer and stronger, this is great. It helps separate them, but it will take your favorite mascara up to new lengths and new width. So because I'm doing a pretty fun look today with this eyeshadow, you know, some people may look at this and they're like, Mary, that's not dramatic. I don't usually do dark on my main part of my lid. It's just not how I roll. I usually do a light shade on my lid. For me, I'm like, this is a little dramatic. This is a little moody fall look I got going on. So I want to make sure that my lashes match it. I find for people who like the look of false lashes, but don't want to have to deal with the glue or the magnet liner or anything, get yourself this Lash Primer, then put your mascara on top. I'm doing chef's kiss lesson left and right. I'm telling you. This is it. This is how you're going to get those results. I am going to use my Twisted Epic Mascara. It's one of the options you can get from the Eye Essentials bundle. Comes with two wands, a itty bitty baby wand for the inside corner and outside corner, even those little lashes there, and then your regular nice big wand. This mascara does have biotin and keratin in it too. There's so many helpful hacks. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Rachel. I try. So I'm doing my lower lashes first. Fun fact, if you have hooded eyes and you do your lower lashes second, you may make a big old mess with your mascara on your upper eyelid because you gotta be like getting like really close and sometimes those lashes hit. Another fun fact for you is if you wear the Lash Primer, do the front and the back of your lashes, or if you just want to have really thick looking lashes, do the front and the back. But the Lash Primer is a little white, so I like to make sure that I coat the front and back. So I get this little wand, already got it on my eyelid. I'm telling you, when I talk and I put mascara on, I am not, not coordinated. I get that little wand and I put it really close to the base of my lashes. Even if I didn't wear eyeliner, it would create an eyeliner effect. Then I go in personally with the big wand to amp up the drama. It combs through them. Really gets me that dramatic look that I'm looking for because I used both wands. But if you're looking just for like a feathery, soft kind of look, you can just use the itty bitty baby wand. You can see my little oopsie right there that I made with the mascara. When you make a mascara oopsie, you get it on your eyes or your face, let it dry. Let it go, as Elsa would say from Frozen, let it go. Because I promise you, dry mascara is a lot easier to deal with than wet mascara. Wet mascara is going to make a bigger mess. Dry mascara, just have a little bit of patience, finish the rest of your look. It'll flake right off. You can use a couple of different tools to flake it off. You can either use a clean mascara wand when you're done with these mascara wands, because mascara has the shortest shelf life. We were talking earlier about makeup, when it expires. Mascara has the shortest shelf life. It's only good for 3 months no matter where you buy it, minutewithmary.com or anywhere. After 3 months from opening it, you should be tossing it. So when you do toss it, you can actually clean it, and you can use that as a little eyelash comb. You can use it for a brow comb, or you can use it for when you make little oopsies with your mascara. You can use a regular spoolie. Some people are able to use just a concealer brush, like a clean concealer brush. But basically, when it's dry, it should flake away and not make a big old mess. So that was the Twisted Mascara at Minute with Mary. I am just going to take my brow comb, which will work just like a spoolie, just like a dry, clean mascara wand. And now that it has dried, I'm going to go right in there. Ooh, not with the spiky side. And just go back and forth, almost like a toothbrush motion. And we're good. We're good. I could have also taken that concealer side of this brush and gone right there. Easy, easy to go. Oh, I almost forgot a lip. How did I almost forget my lip, my friends? Oh, my goodness gracious. All right, let's go in and do one of my new lippies. My new lippies. I am going to be coming out with some lip liners soon. May or may not be putting one on right now. They're not yet available, but they will be this month. So I'll be sharing with you some lip liner tips and tricks in the near future. But since they're not available just yet, you'll have to stay tuned for more Minute with Mary insight and tips and hacks. You know I'm full of them. It's hard to talk, though, when you're doing lip liner. Dun, 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 dun. It's been a while since I did lip liner. Just got out of practice. I was a big gloss girl for a while. And I still am. I love me a good gloss. All right. Let's do a lipstick. So I came out with some brand new lipsticks. Some of my tried and true favorites. Some that are back. So I have matte lipsticks, which give you that nice, very on-trend matte look. The ones that are now on my website, additionally, are more satin finish. This is a shade Well To Do. It's a beautiful, simple nude. These are available. Really creamy, really nourishing, long-wearing lipstick. So I'm talking like 8-hour wear. It is going to hydrate your lips. If you're someone who has very, very dry lips, flaking, maybe you're on allergy medicine, maybe it's where you live, I recommend when you get the bundle, you get 2 lip products. You get a lipstick and then another product of your choice. Either another lipstick, so you can have like an everyday lip, and then a super fun lip, or you can get a lip butter, so this will help nourish. You can get it clear, like the color Spa Day, or you can get a colorful one. You can also get yourself a lip gloss if you're someone who really likes that full pout look. I will say if you're going to be wearing a gloss, it's not your best friend if you wear a mask. So more of a satin or a matte finish will be better if you wear a mask. Another option that I have for those of you who feel like you wish your lips were a little fuller, or if you have lip wrinkles. I love my Hottie Lip Plumper. It actually helps stimulate a little bit more plumpness to your lips. You're not going to have duck lips. It's not going to do anything crazy, but it will help kind of plump a little bit some of those ridges. So you can either get the clear, that is a great thing that you can put underneath any of your products, or you can get this limited edition color right here, which is called Relaxed, which I'm actually just going to put a little bit on top, right there. It also acts like a gloss. So, bada bing, bada boom, we've got ourselves a really beautiful pulled together autumnal look. I utilized this eyeshadow palette. If you missed it, I used these 3 colors right here. I used this shade as my transition. I used this shade as my outer corner, and I used this shade on the main part of my lid. I used a nice black liquid eyeliner to add a fun little hack of how to do an easy wing. My Twisted Epic Mascara. I am doing a very simple eyeshadow tutorial tomorrow, nice and quick for you, on just the Eye Essentials bundle and how to use the liquid eyeshadow, which I didn't use today, but I will share with you tomorrow. And once again, the October special, it's your eyeshadow palette number 9, 2 lip products. There is the add-on where you can get a fluffy crease brush and the eyeshadow primer. Great gift options. I'm someone who, call me crazy, but I actually like to do holiday shopping as much as I can before Halloween, because then I enjoy the holidays. I'm not in the hustle and bustle. I don't have to worry about things. People are saying like, oh, you need to buy your holiday items now. Like, I have been forever. So, yeah, if you know someone who would like a very everyday eyeshadow look, they would also have access to that masterclass recording. You can tell them, I got this girl Mary, she's got all these different videos to share with you how to create different looks with that. Looks great on everybody, every age, every skin type. Can't go wrong with that palette. Thank you so much for tuning into this Minute with Mary. As I said, doing my makeup helps me feel more confident, helps me feel more creative, and right now it helps me feel more in control of something, as I do have things that are out of my control, but now I feel like I'm putting my best foot forward, and I love to help others feel that way. So if you ever have any questions about makeup, about skincare, please, please, please reach out to me. This is what I do. It brings me so much joy to help empower you as well. And I will talk with you soon. Take care and keep your eyes out for more Minute with Mary videos.